Monster Hunter Wilds is a big game, and for many people, it's their very first. With over 1 million players on Steam right now, I wanted to make a video of all the tips that you shouldn't miss to greatly enhance your experience in the game, and the sooner you know them, the better. Some of these tips are aimed for beginners, but a lot of these tips are also new and exclusive to Monster Hunter Wilds. My name is Radial. Let's go over the tips I wish I knew sooner. If any of these tips help you out, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the video, and I'll make sure to make more Monster Hunter content in the future. Alright, so the first tip I wanted to go over was to make good use of the autopilot function in Monster Hunter Wilds. You can open your map with the back button and essentially just choose where you want your secret to automatically ride to. So I'm over here. Let's say I want to go to the other corner of the map. I want to farm this amber deposit right here. I will go ahead and set my waypoint, and automatically my secret will start moving towards there, right? I could hold the sprint button to kick and basically sprint a little faster. I could press the stop button multiple times to essentially have him walk towards it if I wanted to just enjoy the sights, right? The scenery. But otherwise, I'll just go ahead and get them sprinting. And while you're autopiloting to your destination, really good tip is just to pick everything up, right? If you hold left trigger, you will be able to aim with your slinger, and basically picking up everything is always good because once you get back to camp, you unload all your items, you'll be able to craft a bunch of useful items in the future. You know, picking up everything might get boring after a while, so it's good to have an idea of like what are actually good items for you to pick up. Generally, herbs are really good. They make potions. Anything that says like pod is not something you keep, and they're not anything you can craft with. This is the crafting list. So these items, you can see on the right-hand side that some of these are yellow, some of these are blank. Yellow are auto craft items. So basically items that you grab from the world, like an herb, it will be automatically crafted into a potion while you're there if you have the slots. So you see over here, if you have 10 potions, you get herbs, then you won't be able to craft the potion. But if you collect an herb and you have like an open slot, then it'll automatically craft. You want herbs for potions. You want honey to combine with the potions to make the mega potions. I don't want to go too crazy or too overboard here, but like definitely the things I know for sure from playing a lot of Monster Hunter games in the past, which ones are really useful. Catalyst. Catalyst is very good. Notice you need bitterbug broth and honey. Bitterbug broth comes from the bitter bugs that you see in the world. So go ahead and grab this. Why do you want the catalyst? Is because the catalyst is used for a lot of different stat enhancing drinks. Notably the demon drug, mega demon drug, obviously, because it requires a demon drug. You need the armor skin and mega armor skin as well. What you don't really want to bother picking up are these items. If you're not a Bogan player, these items you kind of don't really care to pick up. You don't care to pick up blast nuts, bomb berries, slash berries. You'll notice that they all kind of have the same icon, right? That little shotgun shell with like the 3 prongs on the bottom. You don't really typically want any of those. They don't really do anything for you. They're only used for bowguns, and if you're not interested in bowguns at all, then it's just a waste of time picking them up. So anything that's like a nut, berry, anything like that, you can kind of safely ignore. And again, that's if you're like really lazy. If you just want to pick it up because there's not that much to lose, by all means, please pick it up. Another thing that you do want to pick up are sleep herbs and parashrooms over here. Trank bombs are used to capture monsters, and capturing monsters is very useful to get the max sort of material drops per hunt. Now, another thing that I do want to go over is just how useful the secret is. So let's see if I can find a monster really quick. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack the Congalala. And what I want the Congalala to do is knock me over. And notice I can call my secret while I'm knocked down, and my secret will come to my rescue. Versus the Congalala, it might not seem very useful, but when you're up against bigger beasts, bigger bosses, definitely the secret coming to your rescue is a very, very good way to get yourself out of trouble, sprint to a different location, and just do things that you can while mounted in this game. These things include using your whetstone, which is really nice to sharpen your weapon. Sometimes it gets dull. These things also include using your potions while you are mounted as well. So that you can do a lot of things while mounted on the secret. Your secret's kind of your get out of jail free card. So make sure you use it. If you are in trouble, if you are knocked down, just call your secret and they should be able to help you out. I don't think this works if you are under a status ailment like frostbite, or basically if you're frozen or paralyzed, because you probably can't whistle. But when you are knocked down by an enemy, just make sure to call your secret, and I think that should save you from a lot of tough situations. A nice thing as well to be aware of is this option over here, which is in the camera settings. You can go over here to camera distance zoom. So you can see I already have mine set all the way up, but default has the camera setting set all the way to 4. So this could be pretty claustrophobic, especially if you're like a PC player. Your face is right up next to the screen. If you're used to playing other ARPGs, usually more distance for the camera is better so that you can have a wide berth view of the entire combat situation. So, whoa, what the heck? That was weird. Okay, so I can't really do this from here, but we're going to talk to Alma over here. And we're just going to get a optional quest. Let's say we do this one, right? And we're just going to go ahead and do a quick start here. And what I wanted to bring your attention to was the supply items for your secret. So you can see we've begun the quest, and this works also in story quests as well. But we've begun the quest, and I'm just going to have my secret kind of walk to the destination, just so I can show you what I'm talking about. If you press left on your D-pad, you can open the secret pouch. And this secret pouch, I'm not too sure if it uses items from your box, but I know for sure that these supply items marked by that blue little insignia on the top right hand corner are items that are exclusive to this mission. So these are like free items, okay? You can go ahead and press A and equip them to your pouch. They also come pretty handy with nullberries, come handy with potions and rations as well, just in case you forgot everything, or sorry, rather, you forgot anything when you were preparing for your mission. Actually, want to interject there. You could actually just hit take all with the X button, and this stuff you can bring back to your item box as well. So it's just free items. The other thing I want to make sure you understand is that this secret pouch updates while the mission is going. So I think I'm going to play some footage for you over here. Pay attention to what Alma says. Another tip is to pay attention to the minimap. The minimap has a lot of really useful icons for you to notice where this young cuckoo is ready for capture. And the way you can tell that the young cuckoo is ready for capture is by seeing the white skull that kind of floats on his icon in the minimap. Once you see the white skull, that means that you can set a trap, whether it's a shock trap or a pitfall trap, and use tranq bombs to capture them. Also, super beginner tip here, but use the tranq bombs before the trap. That way there's no chance for you to miss. Certain monster parts do come from just hunting, so unless you're looking for specific pieces, go ahead and try to capture as much as you can, because if you capture monsters, you do get more raw materials. Capturing is almost always worth it because pretty much every mission in this main story mission doesn't care whether you slay the monster or capture the monster. It always say hunt, and if it's hunt, take that as a sign of you can either slay or capture. So a neat thing over here is if you talk to Gemma or the Smithy, you can go ahead and do this neat little trick. If I'm wanting to forge upgrade armor sets, and let's say I wanted to preview an entire armor set. Instead of going here and pressing X, 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 and X, and feeling all of that there, I can actually press left and preview the entire set. This is something that I didn't know until after I beat the main story. So I figure some people may have missed this, and it's pretty useful, I would think. You can press Y, go to skill info, and just take a look at what skills are being enabled. And last but not least, what I really wanted to cover was the radial menu. This thing is very, very useful. Do not overlook this. So look over here. If you could see, I could take a look at my radial menus. There's 8 menus I can have in total. And it is a little confusing. It is a little sort of daunting at first, but it really is easy. And essentially, what is the radial menu? It is a shortcut menu for your items. And it allows you to do a lot of nice things with your item pouch. So usually, with your items, you have to hold left bump, and you can scroll through your items pressing X or B, right? And then you could go ahead and use the items by... I actually don't play with controllers, so I'm not too familiar. But I think... yeah, okay. So you could use your items by pressing X, right? So you hold left bump, and then you press X or B, and you can pick and choose your items. Well, instead of doing this and scrolling through all your items, instead you could set a radial menu. So you can see over here on the right side of my character, I actually have a radial menu where I could hold left bump and basically click one of these items and equip them very quickly. And in fact, you'll notice that some of these items have like this red bag icon. And that's actually very purposeful. It's something I've set up myself. And what that means is that this item is in my inventory, but it is hidden from my scroll menu. Because sometimes I do want to use something over here, right? But what I don't want for sure are items that I could instead just put on a radial menu, or things that I don't think would need to be swapped into on the fly, right? So these things are like kind of my combat use, my very go-to items that I'm almost always going to need at a moment's notice. And for the radial menu, I can also kind of set it up that way, right? Or I could put useful things like, hey, these are things that are very good while I'm on my secret. So if I go over here, call my secret, right? I could hold left bump, flick my right stick up, and there I am. I'm sharpening my weapon while I'm riding, and I could do this in combat pretty like easily without kind of thinking as you know, the more familiar you get with the game. There's also a lot of like sort of macro functions or just functions in general that are really nice. Pay attention to these two: optimal health recovery, optimal status recovery. What do those do? What does that mean? Optimal healing item just is what it is. If you take any damage, let's see if I go get myself damaged by some monster here. And you can see that I took like pretty low damage there, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my secret, and then I am going to hold left bump and then hit optimal health recovery. So it's going to pick the automatic option in my inventory that is the most effective in curing that level of damage. So that was a small level of damage that I took, and so it defaulted to giving me a potion. But now, obviously, if I take more damage, and I just want to kind of show and demonstrate that here, if you'll... Oh, okay, he's just gone. Okay, so I've taken like a pretty good chunk of damage, but let's see if I can take a little more. And I'm going to use my tip over here too, call my secret while I'm taking damage. And so long as I don't interrupt with any other action, it'll be fine. But I could hit my radial menu, flick my right stick to the upper right, and it automatically fetches a mega potion. It says now potion because that's the best way I can heal now. So there's just a lot of really cool and useful things in the radial menu. So where are the really cool and useful stuff? Well, we already went over optimal health and optimal status recovery, but there's like pause game, which is cool because pausing the game is actually kind of difficult. You have to like navigate the menu to the last part and then press pause game. Why don't instead I get my 6th slot and set that to pause, right? And then automatically with left bump, I could hold that and just flick my right stick down, and there you go. I paused the game. So That's interesting. I did not know that. So apparently the radial menu kind of constrains itself to your number of items. So that's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, then let me just do that, right? So you don't even have to have like all these options lit up and have like so many different slots. You can actually, and then this is something I just learned, for controller, I could see this being especially useful. You can actually just limit your loadouts for, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like basically you have the 4 cardinal directions: up, right, left, and down, and just make it very easy, right? Make the target really easy instead of going over here like with the sets that I have for these and having like so many different slots being taken up. Another tip with the barbecue that's actually kind of cool is that you can actually grill a meal. As far as I know, this is the first time Monster Hunter has ever done this. Usually you can grill meat, and grilling meat will allow you to make well-done steaks, which can raise your maximum stamina bar up to a certain amount. But grilling a meal is different. So typically in Monster Hunter, you would have to go back to camp, and then you would have to eat a meal over there, right? Or you would have to go back to base even and eat a meal over there. But if you prepare some equipment, right? I have some fish with me because I fished earlier, and cook, then you can actually make a meal, and this will increase your max health, your max stamina, and sometimes give you passive effects as well, depending on the ingredients you use. And it's going to be typically ingredients that you unlock as you play the game that are going to have more useful things. And remember, again, you can craft different loadouts. If I click the left stick over here and manage my loadouts, you can have different loadouts. This could be my loadout for a charge axe, and I might not want this loadout. Maybe I don't want ammo, right? In that sense, then I'll delete this, and there you go. And when I do play the bowgun, then I'll put a radial menu that does have the ammo setups in there. And that's probably going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.